Is it Miss or Mrs. Campos?
Mrs.
Miss, okay. You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, I'm bringing my son to court to see if I can get some assistance for his son, my grandson, Julian. He's 6 years old. Juan and Julian's mom were together up until about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Had a good life, beautiful home. They were set. Then one day he comes to me. I've never talked to her since she left him. She abandoned him. She abandoned the whole family, including the grandson. So he comes and he says, look, she's gone and whatever. Okay, I just need some help with Julian because she left him too. Well, of course I'm going to say yes, you know. At that time, it was just me and my husband. So Julian had his grandpa, he had me, and everything was fine. Well, last year, grandpa passed away.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. And things have gotten tougher because of that. So to the point where I came out of retirement, I'm Ubering when Julian's at school, and his life hasn't changed at all. He's still literally in the house that he was in when they were a family. And he doesn't visit, like, Julian's like detached from him because it's been 3 years that he'll come around.
I do see him.
You know?
I do see him.
And
I'll get to you shortly.
And
okay.
He
Sorry,
comes around, but I don't get any financial support. I don't see that his life has changed at all. And we had to move out of the house that me and my husband shared. And unfortunately, in this big city, the best place I could find is literally a 1-bedroom. So thank goodness Julian's small right now. He can sleep on the sofa without too much discomfort. I have the bedroom. And so when he comes over and visits, of course he can't stay because there's no place for him to stay. These are his words. He can't stay. And Julian he's just like some man that comes over because he comes over so rarely. What really ticked me off was a little bit back ago, he went and bought Julian some clothes. He also bought himself some clothes. But what my grandson had told me was that if he could have some shoes like Juan. And I said, what do you mean? He got you some new shoes? No, he said, we went to the mall, we got his clothes, his shoes, and then he stopped at Walmart on the way home and got Julian stuff.
This level of self-centered behavior is truly astonishing. Imagine your mother, who devoted herself to raising you, being forced to rebuild her life because of your mistakes. While she battles through hardships and sacrifices her own peace, you remain comfortably detached from any responsibility. It's more than mere neglect, it's an evident void of empathy and accountability. How do you find rest at night knowing the very woman who gave you everything is now left struggling because you refuse to step up? Your indifference not only dismisses her sacrifices, but also fractures the trust and love that should bind you. When you choose comfort over duty, you chip away at the foundation of care that was meant to protect you both. Ultimately, this disregard for her well-being reveals a profound flaw in your character, a flaw that echoes far beyond your own life.
But Julian was with him.
He was literally with him, and he took him, and I thought they were gonna, you know, maybe things had changed with him, whatever.
If I could please explain, Your Honor.
You can.
Okay.
After your mother is done.
Okay, sorry, Mom.
And then since my husband's passing, I need to get medical insurance for him. You know, anytime, even to take him to the free clinic is not really free. I've still got to pay whatever the prescriptions are. And then the finances, you know, I mean, so I went and tried to get him some medical coverage, food stamps. Well, they tell me no, because with the Medicaid, they needed his information. They said that he's under child support. The mother has been paying the state child support all these years.
Okay, wait, so she's been paying child support to him?
Apparently so. I haven't seen one dime.
Okay. All right. And so Julian is under Medicaid.
I couldn't get him under Medicaid
Oh,
because
you couldn't get him
I
under-
couldn't. That's how I found out about the child support. When I asked him about it on the visit that he made to buy the clothes, he said that no, he doesn't get in it. He doesn't know where it's going to this and that. But I know Juan. There's that money. He knows what I'm talking about. You know, he knows he's getting it. But
How is this even possible? The mother's been doing her part, meeting every financial obligation, yet somehow the funds never reach the person actually raising the child. This isn't a simple oversight, it's downright fishy. Meanwhile, this man sits back as if everything's perfectly normal, leaving grandma to scramble with bills and responsibilities she never agreed to shoulder. The sheer gall is astounding. You'd think he'd at least try to cover up his missteps, but he's just brazen and unapologetic. I can only imagine the judge's reaction when this bombshell is revealed, completely turning the case on its head. It's a striking example of irresponsibility that forces everyone to question how such a system can let this slide.
So you just want one to pay child support and you have the opportunity to get health insurance.
well, according to them, yeah, health insurance, because I'm paying out of pocket these last 3 years, and I understood that they wouldn't even qualify him for Medicaid because according to them, he's got medical coverage. But I don't know where that medical coverage is. I've
Under
been paying
mom.
the mom or him or somebody's got him covered, but I don't have the information that I need to go take him to the doctor.
I understand. I follow you. Well, is there anything else you want me to know? Because there is some information I need and you just don't have it, and hopefully Mr. Campos has it. Is there anything else you want me to know, or can I move over to him?
Yeah, I just want to know, I mean, like I tell you, he plays dumb, but I just can't believe that he's let me come out of pocket, you know. When Grandpa was around, it was easier. We could pay these things, but now it's serious that I can't even get him for a common cold without having to Uber almost 20. I mean, Uber doesn't pay anything, and my pension doesn't take care of it.
Okay, so let's move over to Mr. Campos. I'm not going to call you by your first name.
Okay.
Mr. Campos. Okay, so is it indeed a fact that you have been receiving child support from the mother of your son?
Yes, I have.
¿Ves? Que
Okay.
te dije.
And you didn't tell your mom?
No, I didn't feel the need to.
Okay, wait a minute. Is it true that your son, your 6-year-old, has been living with your mom for 3 years?
Off and on, not totally all 3 years, off and on. I do.
What do you mean by off and on? Like on the weekend when you pick him up, or when you pick him up and go
I'm a promoter for a club, so I do need help, and I thought that was the agreement to go ahead and help me when I'm out of town, you know, and I'm not, as she says, I do have the house, but I'm really there, you know, and I do need help. He can't stay by himself in a house that big at 6 years old. I don't know. I know I couldn't, but.
Okay. Well, you'd agree with me that help means that you need to give her something, right?
And I do pay the health care, the 150. I do pay that.
Oh, wait a minute. So that's the missing link here. So you pay health insurance for your son already?
Yes, I pay the 150.
Why didn't you tell your mother that? Why haven't you given her a health insurance card? Why haven't you given her anything? That's not fair.
It's not, but I paid for it. I thought that was, you know, all I needed to do from my side. I didn't realize I needed to tell my mom everything.
What do you? It's not serving Julian.
Wait a minute, Mr. Campos. Who takes him to the doctor?
Well, I haven't recently. You know,
Okay,
when she
so
helps
it's
me out.
fair to say that your mom probably does it, right?
Yes.
So wouldn't it logically follow that she needs an insurance card or the information?
Yes, and it's just that I.
So
I may
you're
have,
letting your mom take your son to the doctor, and they have to call you or something to verify his insurance? That just does not make any sense.
Your Honor, excuse me, they don't call him to verify. I didn't know this. Everything has come out of my pension or my Uber money, tips or whatever. I had no idea until I tried to file for these services that they said that Julian was getting child support. And I have told him, hey, I mean, I've got my son's phone number. I have told him, hey, this kid doesn't feel well, this is going on, that's going on. Even for physical, for him to play the T-ball.
At this point, his actions aren't just irresponsible, they're downright heartless. Imagine watching your own mother empty her savings to pay mounting medical bills while you sit back with a health insurance card that's doing nothing to help. The fact that he purposely omits any mention of these struggles isn't mere oversight, it's a calculated move to hide his neglect. I can almost see the judge fighting back the urge to bring down swift justice for such blatant deceit. Meanwhile, Grandma is left scrambling, forced to shoulder responsibilities she never signed up for, and it's clear she's realizing the full weight of this betrayal. This isn't just about money, it's a deep violation of trust that fuels a storm of righteous anger in the courtroom. Every deliberate omission, every act of evasion only deepens the injustice. In a system where accountability should be paramount, his callous indifference stands as a stark reminder of how betrayal can rip apart the very fabric of care and responsibility.
Now, she's literally paying
Yes.
out of pocket, but your son is covered under health insurance.
Yes.
So your mom is not only taking care of your son's medical needs, she's taking care of his daily needs. And you don't want to help her?
I do want to help her, and I thought she had all the help she needed. When Papa passed away, he left quite a bit of money for her, and I thought,
Okay,
you know, it would
you
help.
just said keywords. He left quite a bit of money for her.
Yes.
Not for your son.
Yes.
Not for you.
Yes, and she keeps talking about going to Uber and such, but that's a pretty nice ring on her finger she has there. Don't know how many
Your
tips are
dad
needed.
got me years ago. This is not something I bought in the
And
last
why
3
does that
years.
matter?
Because she says she does Uber and such. I mean, if it's really that low,
Oh
wouldn't
my
she?
God, Mr. Compose. No.
Okay,
You
sorry, Your
obviously
Honor.
came here to waste my time. What kind of club promoter are you?
Well, I'm sure you've seen me around, probably.
No, I haven't. You don't look familiar at all, but you're looking real unfamiliar right now. I can't even tell this is your mother right now.
This is my mother. I love her dearly.
Well, I can't tell. You're not paying your mother. You're not helping your mother. She helped you. But I don't believe that she intended to help you for life. I don't believe she intended to raise your son. I mean, she raised you.
Yes.
She's a grandmother, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Your Honor, when my husband passed away, and since he lives alone in this big house, I told him we were going to have to move to a one-bedroom apartment, or we could come stay with him. I'd have my private room, Julian have his private room, and he would have his private
Yeah,
room.
so what's the deal with that? You're okay with your mother in this one bedroom. Why can't she stay in the big house?
Well,
Inconvenience, he said. It would be very inconvenient.
How big is this house?
She's
How many
mixing up
bedrooms
my
we're
words.
talking?
Maybe 800 square feet most, maybe 2-bedroom, half closet. It's not as
800
big as
square
she
feet.
It's
said.
not.
It's not as big as she's saying. It's
My apartment is 800 square
And
feet.
you're describing a room in the house that's 800 square feet?
I may have my math wrong a little bit. It's not that big as she's saying. It's really not.
How big is this house? How many
It's
bedrooms?
in the nice houses in Plano, so you can imagine. It's not a. I mean, it's a nice house.
Okay.
Because him and Julian's mom both do this promoting thing.
Oh,
And
okay.
they can
But
do
she
it
just
from
took
everywhere.
off.
So they're.
I no
yeah,
longer
but
see her.
She
I no
left.
longer see her.
But she was making good money, like he makes. I don't know to the penny what he makes, but they were living very, very comfortably. And but he started this since Julian was born, the free babysitting. That a grandmother that loves her kids shouldn't have to be paid and this and that. I never asked him for a dime. I didn't need to. But since becoming a widow, it's become critical.
Okay. All right. Mr. Compose, how much money do you make a year?
48,000.
Really?
Yes.
You make $48,000 a year and you live in this big house in Plano
Well, then that's where all the
and
money.
club promoting?
That's where all the money goes to the house to make sure it's I have so many
Plus
members in
the
the
child
house.
support. They didn't give me the amount because I'm not on the case, right? But who knows how much she's paying.
How much do you receive in child support? Because if she makes that kind of money,
Just $1,000, and that's in that
Just
40.
a
See
grand?
that when you know how much that would have
everybody
helped?
does not receive just $1,000.
Yeah.
Everybody don't receive that.
Well, and that's why I paid for the 150. That
You came here to waste my time. What is it? What is the amount? So you pay yourself $48,000. You pay yourself that, right?
no, it's from jobs that I try and.
How much is your rent, Mr. Compose, or do you pay a mortgage?
No, rent a month is about $1,500.
Okay, so $1,500 in rent. What your other expenses look
Your
like?
Honor, he doesn't rent. They did a big, huge housewarming party. That is his home. Him and her bought that home. It's not a rent.
So you really are wasting my time.
I am renting it. I'm not sure where she's getting that from.
They had a huge, and you know, as families talk, and we're gonna try to pay off the house early, and we're gonna try to even upgrade, but they didn't stay together.
So wait a minute, you closed on this house.
This man's tale twists more wildly than any cheap daytime drama. One minute he's flaunting his brand new house, toasting his housewarming with champagne, and boasting about paying it off early. The very next moment, under oath, he's demoted himself to a humble renter, barely scraping by. I mean, really, surely the judge's look screamed, "Do you really think I was born yesterday?" The receipts just don't add up. It seems he's only renting space in his own head to keep his tangled web of lies intact. In a courtroom charged with tension, his own deceptions have already delivered the verdict. Even more, this spectacle lays bare his crumbling credibility. Each twist in his story unravels like a poorly stitched plot, leaving no doubt that his facade has collapsed under the weight of his own falsehoods.
A deed?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, but it's just...
Okay, so you own the... Ms. Compose, you own the home. Do not come in here and waste my time.
The details have just been foggy since...
You've been getting over on your mother. That's not going to work on me, okay? I was not born yesterday.
Okay.
All right? So let me tell you what we're going to do. We are going to have the child support that you received, that $1,000, we're going to send it over to your mom.
Your Honor, if there's any way we can...
Yeah, hold on. I'm not finished. And I know you want to hear this.
Okay.
That's just mom's portion. You're going to pay too. So mom is going to be getting what? About, let's see, you said 40. Now I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to take your word for it at that $48,000, all right?
Okay.
And you said $150 in health insurance?
Yes.
All right, so your gross comes out to $3,900. That brings your net to $3,280.28. And how many children do you have?
Just the one.
Just how many?
Just the one.
Just the one child?
Yes,
Okay.
just Julian.
All right. All right, so 20% of that brings your child support to $656. And that's giving you credit for the health insurance. So you have to continue paying that health insurance of $150. Child support to grandma is going to be $656, as well as the reallocation of the $1,000 that you received from mom going to grandmother. So grandmother's amount in child support monthly is $1,656, which $656 belongs to you. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Grandma, did you understand what I said?
I did understand. He's the only one thinking that I'm a fool. Now I understand why he didn't tell me about that medical coverage, because he would have known that I knew enough. I retired from the state. He knew that I would have known enough. Well, if you've got insurance, the card's probably got the mom's name under, whoever it comes under for Julian.
Yeah.
And I would have put two and two together and figured there's some child support following that too. But I just didn't think.
Boom. Justice came down hard with a reality check. The judge wasn't buying his phony renter tale or the vanishing child support cash. She saw right through it all. Now, Grandma's finally reaping what she's long been owed with an extra $650 a month that's nothing short of a chef's kiss. No more dodging responsibilities or hiding behind feeble excuses. The court handed him a grown man's starter pack of accountability, consequences, and a bill stamped with his name. The twist: whether he'll finally step up or keep competing in his excuse Olympics. The evidence is undeniable. Every shred of his deception is on display, and the clock's ticking on his next stunt. Grab your popcorn and watch this drama unfold.